Did you have a vision for your life after high school?
No, as a kid, I wanted to be a football player and play in the NFL, but later, especially as I started getting on drugs, I didn't have a vision. I was homeless for a little bit when I wasn't doing good and I wasn't coming to school, when I was disappearing for months at a time. I was living in a little pallet house that I made on a railroad track. So it was hard for me, and it wasn't nothing I could really go to.
Welcome to the Elevated Hope Project, a podcast dedicated to celebrating stories of resilience, transformation, and second chances. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Elevated Education, an organization that serves at-risk students through innovative charter schools like East Point High School and Accelerated Learning Center. At Elevated Education, we believe in the power of education to change lives and create hope where it's needed most. Today, we're honored to share an incredible journey of Ty. As the first student in our South Phoenix site, Ty's story is a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the impact of supported community. Let's dive in. All right. Well, Ty, thanks for joining us today. It's an absolute honor to have you here.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. It's nice to see you guys again. Definitely.
Yeah.
Nice reunion.
Let's talk about, kind of your life before you found our school. You can start as early as you want in your life and just kind of talk through your journey and what led up to the point where you found us.
Okay. Well, early on in my life, spent a lot of time playing football, especially with my dad when I was like 12, 13, 10. From 10 to 13, I played a lot of football. And then my dad actually got arrested, and I lost my dad for a little bit. So after my loss, moved with my coaches as like my father figure a little bit. We went to Marcos Niza, and I started playing football for them. And that was kind of my new family, my new base for a little bit. But after playing football at Marcos Niza, that's really all I got. I got from to football. And then after Marcos, I was struggling a little bit, and then I found you guys.
Okay. So what you say you were struggling a little bit at Marcos, to talk through that.
Yeah. So at Marcos Niza, is when I was living with my grandmother. I was away from and my father was taken away from me, and I was kind of on my own doing my own thing a little bit too early, and I fell into my struggle with drugs, and I had a struggle with opiates and an opiate addiction. And it started just as, I don't know, I was doing kid things, being a bad teenager, but it was just one time I got offered, instead of smoking weed, let's try a pill and do some pills. And even though I knew to myself to never do it, you tried it, and I tried it, and it was a downhill from there. And I just was never, and I always was going back, and I hid it from my family for a long time. I remember coming back from school. Actually, I would go to school and come back real late at night, just staying out all day, doing drugs, and I'd go straight to my room back at my grandma's house, eat some food maybe, and then wake up the next day and go leave. I wasn't really at home ever. I was just always out, present, doing something bad. Then I started getting kicked out, and I had stuff. When was it? When I was struggling, my mom, she was reaching out for me. She was trying to talk to schools and find me help where I could. And that's when, I think on Facebook, actually, she started talking to Nate Scott. Barely starting up his programs, I'm thinking, and just tossing ideas up. And we were just starting things. Give me 1 second. So my mom contacted Nate, and they were talking about the program that they were getting started. And I remember when we started it, it was like on 16th Street in Central, on like a little portable on the side of a church. And when I got there, it was just Nate Scott. I think Daryl Redmond was there. Mr. Red was there at the time. And it was just me on my laptop and the 2 teachers with me in the background. And I would do my schoolwork and I'd have them right there behind me if I needed anything. And they would always talk to me too. So I had found a new base, a new mentor set, somewhere I could thrive again.
So were you the only student for a little while?
I was the only student.
Okay.
And it was just me and my teachers for a little bit. And that gave us more time to bond. That gave us, I think I grew definitely closer with that closer one-on-one time.
So besides your mom finding this new school for you that she saw on Facebook, besides her pushing you to go back, what were you thinking, or what were you going through to push yourself back to that? Because I know if you wouldn't have been kind of buying into that, you probably wouldn't have gone back, or you would have maybe pushed back against your mom a little bit. What were you thinking, and what were you going through right then that said, yeah, I need to go back?
Go back to school?
Yeah.
It was really just trying to hide my drug addiction. For a long time, I was going to school, doing the bare minimum of work, and then just leaving to go do drugs and going back.
So if you went back to school, that would kind of give you an opportunity to hide that from your mom, that,
yeah,
I'm doing what you want me to do, but now I can kind of...
I would take that as my time to get out of the house, leave, have a chance to have an excuse to get out for a while, and go to school. Then after school, I would leave and I go be bad and do delinquent stuff and get high.
So you kind of mentioned the importance of Nate and that mentorship and the teachers, and so how did that impact you and kind of change things for a while?
Definitely. I know that it's not. Sometimes you might think you're hiding your addiction from people, but especially when people learn you and you start to get close to people, they can tell when you're not where you need to be, when you're not on point. So I'm sure even if we weren't straight honest and open about me being on drugs, I'm sure they knew, and we had talks about life, and I opened up a lot to them. And just having that good connection, especially when my father wasn't there. Mr. Red definitely was a huge father figure. Uriah, Mr. G, he was a big father figure. To this day, he's still a good mentor. I still look up to him as a good father figure. It was just nice having those guys around.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's so powerful. And that's really the foundation of what we try to do, is establish that mentoring relationship before we even start really pressing on the academic side of things, is, making sure that the students we're working with are connected with us and with what their future may look like. So.
Yeah, and you guys did that and especially when the school started growing, it wasn't like even I was on drugs and I could still go to school when I had my mind right and still not drop out and stay where I needed to be. Other people, there was people, girls who had children could still come to school and they could bring their baby and they would have him sitting there by their table and they could still get their work done. It wasn't just it was everybody who had that connection and had help.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Is there one moment you mentioned, those 3 gentlemen, but is there one moment maybe you had with one of them or all 3 that kind of clicked for you and okay, I bet I can do this and I better do this? Is there one moment that sticks out in your memories?
Yeah, in our little school room, or on 40th, it was 40th and Baseline Broadway, right around there. We had a little office and there was a little 2 seats in there, and it would be me, Nate, Uriah, or me, Redmond, Mr. Red. It would just be all in there having real conversations just about my future, and they all had faith in me about being able to accomplish this, and just telling me if I just kept doing it and keep coming back, and I would be able to succeed. And they were good mentors to me, and they really helped me through a lot of my struggles during that time,
Yeah.
And I appreciate them.
Yeah, they're good men.
Yeah, they are.
Before you had those relationships with those mentors who are willing to talk through finishing high school, Did you have a vision for your life after high school?
No, as a kid, I wanted to be a football player and play in the NFL, but later, especially as I started getting on drugs, I didn't have a vision. I was homeless for a little bit when I wasn't doing good and I wasn't coming to school, when I was disappearing for months at a time. I was kicked out from my grandmother's house and I was living in a little pallet house that I made on a railroad track. So it was hard for me and it wasn't nothing I could really go to. But when I did go to rehab and when I did get better and sober up, I would come back to school and I would have my mentors to talk to and they would help me through my stuff.
At what point could you see beyond high school something other than what you were living?
Not until later, after I really stopped relapsing and I got sober and I met Rachel, my girlfriend, my future wife. After I met her, I started having a bigger experience and I started like expanding on everything I could be. And she actually helped me get into my college. She was the one who gave me that extra motivation to do my veterinary school, my vet tech school. So she was a big part of that. And that wasn't until later. But I think a big part from like 16 to 18 was just surviving. You know, I wasn't really thinking of a future for myself until I got my head clean and actually grew up. My father came back out of prison. My father was gone for way too long. For a marijuana charge, my dad was gone for like 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And my dad finally came back, and I remember being on the streets, like out in the neighborhood on a sidewalk, and seeing my dad pull up in a car and my mom with him, and then my older brother get out the car, and everybody gets out the car and they just, come on. There was nothing, there was no like fight in me. It was just, it's time. I knew it was time. I haven't seen my dad in so long. And got out, he gave me a big hug and I cried for a little bit. And we went to a Motel 6, went to some crappy motel, and I detoxed in a motel with him for a week and died. But it made me stronger, and that was my first snap back to reality and actually coming to sobriety.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. What a cool experience to have all that support around you.
Mm-hmm. So even when I was out and hiding from everybody and hiding my life from everybody, I still had my mom, my grandmother, all my mentors at school, everybody who was looking for me and cared about me. My mom was literally driving around the neighborhood random days to come look for me. So.
Yeah, I remember you telling me stories, through the years that, you would disappear for months and we were always asking, or I was always asking the mentors and the teachers, where's Ty? I'd show up at campus, where's Ty? And they're like, well, we haven't spoke to him for a month. And then I'd get a text, he's back.
Yeah.
And I'd come down and you'd say, every time it was a similar story, but sometimes, there was a little twist, one, you were sleeping on your grandma's back porch at one point. You were living down by the railroad. There was always kind of, the similar things would happen each time.
Yeah.
Was when you came back and you finished up and you graduated, what was it that brought you in? Was that because those mentors reached back out to you and you were ready and you'd gone through and gotten sober? Is that ultimately what pushed you to get done and graduate?
Yeah. After I got sober and I got my head clean, even if I was going to go back to any other school, which I wouldn't even think about, that's weird. I'd have to go do a whole bunch of transfer credits and stuff, but I would never do that. I know my people. I love the people here. So I was going to finish what I started with the people I started it with. And, I can't say if it was Mr. Red or Mr. G, Uriah Hall. Uriah Grissom, who I still talk to. I seen him at the Harkins Theater the other day. He comes to my work. I'm pretty sure it was him. Yeah. Who started talking to me and getting me in contact and getting me back in school. And Nate Scott, you can't get him off of your phone. He was definitely on Snapchat, I think. He had a Snapchat.
I was about to ask, did you think it was crazy that these guys, at 5 or 6 years of kind of working with you, was it amazing to you that they kept reaching out to you and pursuing you to get done with high school and make sure you were okay? Did that seem odd to you, or is it because of the relationships that you had built with them that it was no surprise?
Yeah, it was no surprise. I built those relationships with those guys, and I learned that they're good guys. I could see them for who they really are, and I'm honored that I was a good enough presence in their life that you guys and them were all, trying to keep me around. And I appreciate that. That was nice.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. And you guys didn't give up on me and always let me come back.
Did you see that? Did you see other kids kind of doing the same thing?
You guys had open arms to everybody. So if it was a girl with a kid or a girl with 2 kids, if group home, I know you guys did a group home kids a lot. Mm-hmm. You guys fed us a lot too. You guys had like ramen noodles and stuff. That came in clutch a lot. Yeah, I think you guys just had a good idea for a program to help everybody and to make it easier to graduate and not to make it so you have to jump through so many hoops. And for everybody who's in a group home or is on drugs or who has kids too early and can't take care of them and finish school, give them a place to do it. And that's what you guys did. And we had that area to go do it. It was nice.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that intertwined through your whole story is just this incredible level of resiliency in you and wanting to fight and not give up.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And I'm sure there were days, right? We all have those days where it's like, I don't want to get out of bed today. But you did. Every time you fell down, you kept getting up. And you finally got across the finish line and graduated.
Yes, I did.
In 2023, right?
Yes.
So talk to us about that moment, what that was like to finally have that diploma in your hand. And, you're with, are you with Rachel at that point?
Yes. And I was with Rachel and my dad was home.
Okay. So you've got that diploma in hand. You're starting to develop that vision for your future. Walk us through that a little bit.
Actually graduating and being done with school was nice, and to feel that accomplishment of having all that time and finally finishing school after, it was probably 14 years for me. It was too long for me. I should have a bachelor's degree right now. But yeah, after all that work, it was nice to finally have that success. And after I graduated, I think, when I flew back to Arizona to graduate, we had the ceremony, and I was already with Rachel at that time. We were living in Idaho, in Boise. Yep, we were already in Idaho, and we flew back together to do my graduation ceremony. We got to visit my family again. And then we flew back to Idaho, and that's when we started talking about college and what I was going to do next. And I don't want to do nothing that isn't going to make me happy, and I don't want to do 18 more years of school. So I went for veterinary technician. So I get to be with animals and help and save lives and do what I love, but not be a doctor and not have to do so much school. And I found my niche, my niche, and I got in there and I just stuck with it. I enrolled in my Penn Foster school, and I started doing my veterinary school. I was going to do barber school for a while because my dad's a barber, and he's been cutting hair for so many years, 30 years. But I could still do it, barber. Yeah. I could be a dog barber.
Yeah, why not?
I've cut a couple dogs' hairs. In my neighborhood dogs and stuff back in the day, I would trim some dogs' hairs.
That's a good career. Yeah. The amount of money I spend to have my dogs cleaned up is
it's true.
Yeah, I know about it. My dog is crazy.
After COVID, it was like the first thing they opened up was people
Dog
taking
grooming.
their grooming. It was vital. It was a necessity.
And some dogs, you got to get them like sedated for even a haircut because they're just like my dog. Yeah, my dog is crazy. You got to get him. He's a good dog. His anxiety is really bad. So we got to take extra special care of him when he gets his haircut.
Yep. So are you still in that program or have you completed it?
I'm still in that program. I'm on my second year of it. So I'm about to be in my, what's it called? My on-site interning. That's what it is. Yeah. I'm going to start doing my internships and my on-site learning. So I'm going to start looking for places to go be an intern at and get some experience with dogs.
Yeah.
And maybe cats.
So how would you, like, you're in an online program now and you're in an academic, like higher education program. Did you feel ready for that? How would you compare it
Not
to?
At all. So no, I wasn't ready for going into college. College is a different thing. I'm still writing exams to this day. Like, dang, asking Rachel for help because she's been through college. She's done all her studies. So having her, who's been through nursing school and done all that hard stuff, she was really able to help me and reassure me that I'll be able to do it. It's not that hard. She tells me I could do anything, and she's pretty convincing.
Yeah, it sounds like you're pushing through it.
I have been able to do pretty much anything. If I could beat drugs, I feel like I'm pretty strong.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt about that. So I'm curious, have you always had a love for animals, or is this kind of something that developed over time that drew you to this career path?
I've always had a love for animals. I've kind of been like the dog whisperer, not really, but all dogs just love me. I can't train every dog, but all the dogs want to come up to me, and I always, like, at a family party, everybody's there. I'll go find the dog running around. I'll go down there, squat with the dog, and go give the dog some attention. So I've always loved animals.
The dogs know who the good people are.
Yeah,
They do.
They see my friendliness in my soul.
Yeah.
Cats are cool. Cats can be you got to be timid with cats because they're very timid. They're like very standoffish. I bonded with a couple cats, but most cats, it's kind of harder for me to bond with. So I'm sticking to a dog man for now.
Yep. Till those birds and lizards start showing up wherever you're
I have a
working.
lizard. Rachel she has a leopard gecko, a little spotted lizard. So we've been taking care of that. I can't say I love the lizard. There's not really a lot of love with the cold-blooded reptilian, but she's cool to look at. She's cool to watch her eat worms and crickets and stuff. But
So other than the academic, like probably hurdles that you've been jumping through right now, was there anything that you learned while you were in the East Point program that now you're able to apply, like over and over as life lessons in what you're going through currently?
yeah. Let me think of the best one I could say. So I would say that one of the best ones, like, because at school, in any high school, they don't talk about money at all. Like, I don't think they do at all. They might barely touch on the subject, but having 3 grown men and there was a woman there. There's a couple women that worked there, but having older people that you could talk to about money and having I learned a lot of stuff about having bank accounts and savings and learning about that's where you actually learn about interest. And so I could say at that school, I actually did learn about money and where to put money and how to save it. So I could say that.
That's awesome.
That's what
I would say most high school kids graduate knowing nothing
Yeah.
about money. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And, a lot of places will say they teach personal finance, but it's not the practical, how do you go open a checking account?
Yeah.
And how does interest work when you use a credit card? And,
Yeah.
What is a credit card? Yeah.
Things that 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds need to know going out there trying to get credit cards.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good feedback. Yeah. So once you're done with this vet tech program, you'll be a certified
Veterinary technician. Yeah.
And you'll be looking for a practice to work for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I will.
Very good. That's incredible. What an incredible journey.
Thank you. It's been a fun journey. It's been a great test of my resilience, and it's made me tough in who I am, and I believe in myself. So I could say that. It might not be the best story, and I might not have handled everything the best, but I feel like I came out on top, and I'm so strong. I could say that.
Let me ask you this real quick. When you see other high school kids, right, going through similar things as you, what types of messages do you want them to hear? Like, what would you say to them if you're sitting down right now with someone maybe 4 years ago you?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm not good at advice. What would I tell somebody?
Maybe don't even think of it as advice. Just what do you want them to know?
Or what would you tell yourself looking back 4 years ago?
That's a better way to say that. Yeah.
Put in more effort. That's what I probably would have told myself. Because especially when you're young and you still have a chance to literally become anything, you could put in any amount of effort to become anything. But it's more about just keeping your head down and staying to it. So even if you feel like you have a bad day or a good day, just keep going. And even if you disappear for a month, come back and just keep going. That's what I would say.
Very good.
Yeah. And I think another really important part of your story is finding those people in your life that will just unconditionally support you.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are the people that are going to lift you up when we all inevitably fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to have support.
Yeah, for sure. Very good. I love your story.
Okay.
Because it is, and I guess it's, we know you probably more personally than we know many of our students in our different schools.
Yeah.
And just seeing the way that you've overcome some really hard things. I mean, drug addiction is a terrible thing to try to overcome.
Yeah.
But then you layer on top of that, losing your dad for a long period of time, who was a really important figure in your life. But you just kept showing up and doing the work. And eventually those missing pieces came back all together, right? And you had the support system in place to keep you moving. So very incredible story.
Thank you.
Let me wrap up with this. We, first of all, appreciate you taking the time to come chat with us today.
Yeah.
Because your story is incredible. But I want you to leave here knowing that, and I know that you know this from other people in your life, right? Your mom and your grandma, Rachel, your dad. But I want you to leave here knowing that you are loved and respected by us, and that you will always have a home here. And if there's anything that you ever need, you have my cell phone number now. You know how to get a hold of Nate and Uriah. I know those two guys will always be there for you.
Definitely.
So don't hesitate to reach out. You will always have a support system in us. And we will always be here to give you a hand up, or some advice when inevitably in life we come across those barriers that may feel too big to overcome. We will always be here to help you.
I appreciate that. And I'm definitely probably going to need that help because I have a lot of adulting stuff I got to do coming up.
Yeah. And adulting is hard.
Yes, it is.
Got bills to pay. Yeah. All right. Well, before we wrap up, You guys have anything else you wanted to ask?
I was just going to say that I think pretty soon we're going to have you come back and help at one of our centers doing something, talk to the kids, share your story.
Bring some puppies.
Yeah, we'd love to have you pour into them.
I have some puppies to bring. My mom has a couple for me, so I could bring some puppies.
Cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I want you to work at my vet's office so I would trust you 100% with my dogs.
I love dogs. You know, I take good care of dogs.
Yeah. Maybe we can make that happen. We'll see.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you for letting me share my story. I would have had a longer one, but it was on drugs, so still some of it's a little fuzzy.
I bet. Yeah.
I got most of it though. I remember what matters to me.
You did a great job.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thank you. Let me wrap up with just thanking you again. And thank you to our listeners for joining the Elevated Hope Project, where we celebrate stories that remind us all with support, hope, and perseverance. Transformation is always possible. We'll see you next time.